I'm going to be grading the 2021 NBA draft class lottery 4 years later. I think that's ample time for teams to see how their picks have panned out, who's gotten supermax extensions, who's out of the league. Let's get straight to it. With the first overall pick, the Pistons drafted Cade Cunningham. This is a great pick. Cade has increased his points, rebounds, and assists every year he's played on better efficiency than the year before. After signing a 5-year rookie max deal in July of 2024, Cade has led the formerly 14-win Pistons of last season to 44 wins and the sixth seed, averaging 26, 6, and 9. He was an All-Star. He was All-NBA. There were concerns with Cade in his first 3 seasons. The Pistons were trash. They won 54 games combined in Cade's first 3 seasons, and it appeared that Cade wasn't really doing much to impact winning in Detroit. He was barely a positive player in his third season. He only posted a .3 box plus minus when the team won 14 games last year. But to me, as a person who pushes for advanced impact stats and loves advanced impact stats, I believe Cade was done a bit dirty by them. The franchise he was given was in an awful state. If you look at last year, guys like Chimezi Metu played 30 minutes a game, and all it took was good offseason moves and time for some of their other draft guys to develop, and Cade was able to shine. If I were to criticize some aspects of Cade's game, it would start with the turnovers. He had a 2.06 assist to turnover ratio in the regular season, and I think turnover conscious playmakers are the ones that are able to thrive in settings like the postseason. Against the Knicks in his first playoff series, although, he committed 32 turnovers to 52 assists, a drop from his 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio to 1.63 assist to turnover, and that's just not good as the primary guy in the playoffs. Additionally, I think he also needs a consistent three-pointer off pick and rolls. A good pull-up three would do him justice to counter some of the different coverages he saw against the Knicks. He shot a terrible 17.9% from three against New York on almost 5 attempts per game. He's going to need that to be better, to be more sustainable as a scorer. But of course, he's only going to be 24 at the start of next year, and the future does look pretty bright in Detroit. Pretty good number one guy for the Pistons. Moving on to pick number 2, the Rockets selected Jalen Green out of G League Ignite, which I would say is a mid-pick due to the other talent on the board at the time, given the high lottery selection of number 2. Jalen Green is a very polarizing player in the NBA. The pure hoop crowd love him because of his high-end scoring ability and his explosiveness, but the analytics crowd hates him because the Rockets play statistically better with him off the court and he has poor efficiency. One thing that they can both agree on is his inconsistency. A lot of the times he has these stretches in March where he goes off in the late season, putting together stretches of 30-point games despite having terrible games throughout the rest of the season. For me personally, I'm more negative on Jalen Green. His 54% true shooting mark is bad considering the amount of the times the ball is in his hand, and he isn't a talented passer by any means on offense. The lineup stats aren't particularly wrong either. The four-man lineup of Jalen, Fred VanVleet, Sengun, and Amen Thompson had a negative 3.09 net rating in 431 minutes this regular season. The 201 minutes in which Sengun, VanVleet, and Thompson were on the court while Green sat, they posted an outrageous 31.4 net rating. Now, naturally, that 31.4 net rating mark is not sustainable over the course of a season, but it does show the impact that removing Green from the lineup does have. Not to mention, the series that they had against the Warriors this playoffs was atrocious. He averaged 13 points on 37% from the field, and that includes a 38-point game, too. Jalen Green would really have to make a leap next year in his efficiency and expand his scoring game for me to be confident with this pick at number 2 moving forward. At number 3, the Cavaliers selected Evan Mobley, and this is just a great pick. Mobley has the tools to be one of the best defenders of all time, and he's already one of the best defenders in the game. His 7', 7'4" wingspan frame combined with his overall athleticism makes him a terrifying person to meet at the rim. He's a capable perimeter defender as well, giving the Cavaliers the option to switch ball screens with him with no real worries. I'm not even sure if this season was even his best defensive season that he's had, but he was the anchor of a 64-win Cavalier juggernaut and the Defensive Player of the Year. There's already an argument for him to be the best player on the team, and he's clearly the franchise cornerstone moving forward. I love Evan Mobley. Shout out to Evan Mobley. Pick number 4, the Raptors took Scotty Barnes, which was undoubtedly a good pick, but I'm a bit iffy. Listen, you aren't going to hear me call the Rookie of the Year a bad pick, but there is some cause for concern. Coming off an All-Star selection last year, Scotty didn't really improve. His numbers are almost identical, except for a violent dip in his three-point shot. But I'm not out on Scotty just yet. I think we could be seeing a Cade in Detroit situation where the player needs the team. And although I don't love the moves the Raptors have made or their roster as a whole, it seems that the organization is moving away from attempting a full blown tank. Whether or not Scotty will play up to the worth of his supermax is yet to be decided. And next year, I'll be curious to see what leap he'll make. Overall, he's been a positive guy his whole career, but we'll see if he can make that jump to a perennial All Star next season. Pick number 5, the Magic selected Jalen Suggs, which was a good pick. Suggs is one of the better perimeter guys in the league, making the all defensive second team last year. He most likely would have also made it this year if his season wasn't cut short after 35 games, which brings me to a way bigger point the Magic and injuries. Banchero missed 36 games, Franz Wagner missed 22, and Suggs missed 47 with injuries. Somehow, this team made the playoffs. And the status of Suggs and the team this season makes it a bit difficult to evaluate him further, but he's a very talented player. He was averaging 16 points per game this year, and I think he has the tools to be a Derek White level of role player. If the Magic ever become contenders, or Suggs is moved to a contender somehow, his true impact will be unlocked and available to see for the rest of the league. At pick number 6, the Thunder selected Josh Giddey, which in my eyes was not a good pick. Don't get me wrong, Giddey is a talented player, but he has massive limitations that impact his game and the team around him. And he'll probably be a triple-double machine and a high PRA guy for the rest of his career, but he has huge issues. Number 1, he's a huge defensive liability. This was put on blast in the Thunder Mavericks series last year, where guys would look for and isolate Giddey on almost every possession. If that wasn't glaring enough, he's also limited as a scorer to where he was unplayable on offense as well. He's not a particularly excellent ball handler, creator, shooter, or finisher at the rim. His highest scoring game against the Mavericks that series was 11, and he averaged 6 points per game that entire series. Coming off their exit to the Mavericks last year, the Thunder traded Josh Giddey in a 1-for-1 swap to the Bulls for Alex Caruso. And does Giddey look better on the Bulls? Absolutely, but he's not a player I'd be confident about in the playoffs, and I think it would be a mistake for the Bulls to extend him for anything close to $100 million this upcoming season. With pick number 7, the Golden State Warriors selected Jonathan Kuminga out of G League Ignite, which was a decent pick, but very interesting. He's gotten better every year he's played, becoming a reliable 15 points off the bench, but similar to Jalen Green, he's ridiculously athletic and a capable scorer, but he lacks everywhere else. He's a poor shooter, a poor creator, a poor playmaker, and Steve Kerr became aware of these deficiencies for the playoffs and benched him for a majority of their series against the Rockets. It's clear his time in Golden State has come to an end, and I don't think he's worth the money that he's seeking. I'm curious to see where he ends up this upcoming offseason, but I don't think Kuminga will be making any leaps to be an all-star. With pick number 8, the Magic selected Franz Wagner, which is an excellent pick. The Magic got one of the best players in the draft at number 8. Franz Wagner is arguably the best player on the Magic, but there were some questions of fit between him and Banchero due to their similar archetypes, bruising forwards with not much of a shot. The Magic have a +6 net rating when Wagner is on the floor, averaging a career-high 24 points per game this season, and he's on the cusp of becoming a truly great scorer. He's a talented finisher who's aware of how to use his size and finesse, but he's missing a reliable three-point shot, somehow dropping from 36% from 3 in his sophomore season to now 29% in his 4th season. Overall, Wagner is one of my favorite players in this draft and one of my picks to be a first-time All-Star next season. With pick number 9, the Kings selected Davion Mitchell, which was a mid-pick at best. He's an above-average perimeter defender at just 6'2", but he doesn't have much game outside of that. He's a defensive-oriented small guard, which is an archetype that does not find a lot of success in the NBA. He's a 3-and-D guy essentially without the 3, and his minutes fell off after his rookie season in Sacramento, going from 11 points per game to just 5 in his last 2 seasons there. Ultimately, the Kings offloaded him to the Raptors for Jalen McDaniels, and a couple months later, the Raptors offloaded him to the Heat for PJ Tucker. Somehow, he's become a good 3-point shooter in Miami, shooting 44% from downtown with the Heat, and it looks like his career might just be up next for the patented Miami role player magic that affected Max Strus and Caleb Martin. With pick number 10, the Grizzlies ended up with Zaire Williams via trade. This was a bad pick. Spending 3 years in Memphis and now he's in Brooklyn, Zaire Williams is just not a very good NBA basketball player. He's been sort of a tank commander for both the Grizzlies and the Nets, and likely isn't a productive bench player on a good team. There are much better players available at this spot. This wasn't a good pick. Following up a bad pick by the Grizzlies, the Hornets took another bad player as well. With pick number 11, they took James Bouknight. There's not much to say about Bouknight's NBA career. He averaged just 5 points per game on 39% from 2 and 33% from three in 3 seasons with the Hornets. He had a -8 net rating on the court his final season, and he's out of the league now. Not too much to say. Continuing the stretch of terrible picks, pick number 12, the Spurs took Joshua Primo. After averaging 7 points per game his rookie season, he was cut by the Spurs after a sexual assault case was pressed against him for exposing himself to the team's therapist. What are you doing, bro? I can't even blame the Spurs for this pick. He could have turned out to be a decent player, but the outcome is the outcome. He was bounced around a couple more teams post the controversy, but he's not even signed to a G League team anymore. Terrible pick. With pick number 13, the Pacers selected Chris Duarte, which has turned out to be a bad pick. Coming in as a 24-year-old rookie was already an uphill climb for Duarte, and after a strong 13 points per game rookie season, Duarte sort of faded into the rotation for the Pacers the year after, dropping to 8 points per game on worse efficiency. Then he was traded to the Kings for 2 second-round picks straight up. Then the Kings sent him to the Bulls as a part of the 3-team trade that sent DeRozan to the Kings, and then he was waived by the Bulls. His career in the NBA is over, and now he plays in the Dominican Republic, where he's from. Rounding out the lottery, the Warriors used their second first-round pick on Moses Moody, which was actually a pretty decent pick. His first 2 seasons were very questionable. He only averaged 4 points per game and had a negative net rating while he was on the court. But now Moody has become a decent bench player for the Warriors. This year he had a career-high 10 points per game and a plus 6.3 net rating when he was on the floor. He's developed into a pretty decent 3-and-D guy. Moody is due for a contract this upcoming offseason, and I think he'll command a decent amount of interest for teams looking for a solid bench guy. And I think the Warriors should actually try to keep him. That'll do it for the draft lottery. Appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure to subscribe, comment what y'all think, and maybe I'll end up doing the rest of the first round and maybe some of the second round later on. That'll be it, though. I'm out.